and they make it all the way to the grand finals here against Ballistix. There are going to be some amazing games. I, Dreadnought, and Dunk Train will be bringing you guys the analysis, trying to let you know the thought process behind the teams and everything that's going to be going on. But it is hype in here.
Yeah, as it should be. Today's grand finals is not only a rematch of yesterday's winners finals, but Miracle also just defeated Black, their sister team, in an insane 3-game set, and now they have basically proven that they deserve to be the primary MVP team. 2 defeats in 1 tournament. Black sent home in that 3rd place. Not empty-handed, but still Miracle now in the grand finals.
Yeah, it puts you in a weird spot where Black has to, you know, kind of be like almost happy in the sense of like the development of the sister team, but also disappointed in their own performance. But this is going to be ridiculous, guys. Ballistix is a team that started this tournament not the most dominant as what you would expect out of a very recent world champion. Just moving on to dropping a couple of games here and there to teams that maybe you would consider not really worthy almost of getting games off of them, and then slowly gaining momentum as the tournament went on to where they almost feel, at least recently, untouchable. Like that the only teams that put up games against them were Korean teams, and even then you're like, this isn't really fair. So I don't even know what to say. They just seem so far ahead of everybody else at this point. And now Miracle, you know, as we were talking about earlier, we kind of viewed it as like Miracle just beat, you know, you're playing your favorite game, you beat the like final boss, and you're like, here's the credits, and you're like, oh man, that was a good time. And then suddenly there's like, nope, another boss comes out. It's like, nah, it turns out there's another one. Surprise. Yeah. And that's Ballistix. You got to figure it out. This is going to be a huge battle for them. And if they do it, I would be my mind blown if Miracle somehow manages to take out Ballistix.
I mean, it would take an incredible, maybe even a miracle
for
them to win. Because yesterday, Ballistix went insane. But we'll have to see what they think about the upcoming grand finals.
발리스틱스 SCSC입니다.
안녕하세요. MVP 미라클 팀 주장 크레이지 무빙 한기수입니다.
이번 경기에서는 저희 팀이 지금까지 보여줄 수 있던 걸 다 보여준 것 같아요.
이게 이번 대회부터 뱀픽이 제가 하는 걸로 바뀌었거든요. 제가 뱀픽을 하는 게 처음이다 보니까 약간 비밀 무기 같은 거를 준비를 못한 게 오늘 좀 페인인 것 같고, 일단 시간이 오늘 하루밖에 없는데 어떻게든 준비를 잘 해봐야 될 것 같아요.
여기 와서 미라클이랑 2번 해봤는데 해본 소감으로는 픽백만 안 지면은 저희가 이길 것 같아요.
발리스틱스는 일단 노블레스 자체를 중심으로 돌아가는 팀이고, 뱀픽과 오더를 오늘도 보셨듯이 신박하게 잘 만들어내고, 제가 느끼는 개인적인 평가는 노블레스가 없으면 돌아가지 않는 팀이라고.
이번 대회에 와서 저희가 다 이겨본 상대니까 결승에서 쉽게 이기도록 하겠습니다.
You can see in that video Crazy Moving talking about Ballistix, counting on Noblesse, putting all their faith in Noblesse, and he was the one chosen to play that Zarya in the insane shield composition yesterday when Ballistix took out Miracle 2-0. And that leads me to think, will we see a repeat of that same strategy here in the grand finals?
It's a possibility that we see it pop up. Ballistix here, all of these guys have you know, made names for themselves as of their performance at BlizzCon. SCSC, Zhanghan, Noblesse, Nacho Jin, and Swoy. You know, every time I see that guy, he's always so excited and happy. I can't say it enough. It's just ridiculous. He's how bubbly he is. But they said in the video that they say if we win the draft, we win the game, which does make me feel as though maybe they respect Miracle a bit more than I expected them to, at least. But here, SCSC is going to be our key player, 7-0 on that Vala.
Just looking at that is kind of mind-blowing.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew Ballistix was dominant in this tournament, but I didn't realize just how well they performed overall. I think coming into this tournament, everyone expected them to be amazing, and when they looked a little shaky day 1 of the group stage, we pulled back a bit, but now they have proven time and time again, series after series, that they deserve to be here in the grand finals, and their opponents in this match will be MVP.Miracle. Will they have the momentum it takes to get a win here.
It's a big task here, but Darvish, Reset, Crazy Moving, Sniper, and Tist are all going to be doing their best. And I think we even saw in that little bit that we saw C-Moving was talking about the drafting scenario that they put themselves into, that he's going to be at the forefront of it for this tournament, and that he felt underprepared here. And Ballistix made the comment, well, depending on how the draft goes, that's going to determine how we win here. So I think a lot is going to be riding for both these teams. Who wins the draft typically is going to be one pulling out the game.
It will be extremely important, and you can see Tist here, one of the standout Warrior players at this event. He has been so impressive with his excellent understanding of teamfight flow, always anchoring the appropriate position, defending those flanks with a very convincing showing at this tournament.
Yeah, he did wonders against MVP Black, but looking at the charts here, Ballistix, a team who seems to be a little bit ahead when it comes to rotations and synergy, but the drafting of Miracle is one that has stood out as of recent games. It's going to be interesting. I do agree that I think the rotations and synergy here of Ballistix are above Miracle, but the drafting, I would say, I think is above 2. I don't know. Miracle has done a lot of major adjustments, and I think they've been impressive and well thought out. But Ballistix just seems like that's after that Zarya comp. I mean, how can you judge the draft at this point?
Well, you know, sometimes you have that kind of pocket strategy prepared. You catch your opponent off guard, but that doesn't mean it will work twice. And Miracle showed a commanding understanding of the meta when they defeated MVP Black after recovering from the first game.
Outside of that game, first game.
Yeah, the first game,
one seemed.
I mean, but it says something extra when they can recover in a bad set. I think even more than if they had just 2-0'd maybe in close games. Recovering really makes me think Miracle has a shot here, but Wolf and Grubby are both putting their faith in the Ballistix basket, and I can't say I blame them.
No, I say with the same sentiment as they do. I don't think that it's impossible for Miracle, but again, it's going to be drafting, pinpoint accuracy when it comes to play. The only thing that I think might be in their favor is that Tyrael play we saw out from them against MVP Black in the last series. Was impressive, really well done compared to some of the other teams. The synergy with like the diving of the Tracer and everything else, they were on point. And if they do that, he is such a powerful hero that I can see them maybe being able to take those games off Ballistix.
There's definitely a shot here. If Miracle has learned from their defeat yesterday, from their matches against MVP Black, if they bring everything they have learned, everything they know about Here's the Storm, they do have a shot. But Ballistix, reigning champion, a lot on the line here. They want the back-to-back titles. I mean, they're in a good position too.
Yeah, they very much are. But we're going to be moving to the map picks here. This is a best of 5. So in order, we're going to be facing the Garden of Terror Miracle loves so dearly. Sky Temple will be map number 2. 3 is Battlefield of Eternity. 4, Towers of Doom. And 5, the Dragon Shower, meaning we have 100% Garden of Terror, Sky Temple, and Battlefield. I'll consider the other ones if we manage to make it that far. Garden of Terror, Ballistix, I don't think will be nearly as comfortable as Miracle.
Definitely not. We've seen over the course of this event that MVP Miracle's first map choice has consistently been Garden of Terror. This forces their opponents on awkward footing. Their opponents are typically banning Vikings because they feel uncomfortable, even with the first pick that they have. And then Miracle just shows up. They show different strategies. They utilize them well.
Yep.
I mean, the way they played that Tyrael, Monk, Muradin Tracer game was so amazing, so much mobility, and they really utilized that and didn't give up anything to MVP Black. And that is quite a story. So I think Garden of Terror, definitely the most Miracle favored map in the pool.
Yeah, I agree. And then we also saw we're going to Sky Temple in match number 2. It's Ballistix pick, and naturally, because I do think Ballistix overall does seem to have, you know, a bit more control in their team fights, I think that map will be more lenient and leaning towards them. But the third one is the one where I was a bit confused. We are going to be going to Battlefield of Eternity as game number 3. And that was Miracle's choice. That does seem surprising. Either way, we are starting the draft here of game number 1 of the Gold Club World Championships Grand Finals between Ballistix and MVP Miracle.
And Ballistix, of course, will have the first ban, first pick slot in this draft, since this is Miracle's map choice. And we'll have to see if Ballistix feels committed to that Vikings ban like we have seen earlier in the tournament from Miracle's opponents.
Yeah, the TLV ban, I wouldn't be surprised, but I also don't like it a lot of the times. I feel they are very, very strong when it comes to this map, but it just hasn't been very common to see Korean teams even play Vikings almost ever. Maybe these, I mean, with these guys scrimming against one another, you know, they might always know just these guys are insane when it comes to the Vikings, and we can't let them have it. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think they probably play Vikings better than anybody else. It just, I think you can play around them as a pick. They're scary, but you definitely can play around them.
Well, Ballistix is putting that ball in Miracle's court as they choose not to ban him. They ban Falstad instead, who is, interestingly enough, one of the better counters to the Vikings themselves, and now Miracle has to face down that same question. Picking Garden of Terror could backfire on them here and cost them a ban if they do choose to get rid of the Vikings from the draft here. If not, we might not even see it. But that is a risk. Do you want to take that risk in the grand finals? Are you willing to accept that you might have to play against Vikings on Garden of Terror in the grand finals? Or do you just give up the ghost and say, you know what, it's not even worth the potential?
I think if I have been picking Garden this much, I should know that answer by now. I should not be tipping into my time pool. Abathur is going to be the removal here. A soft response to Vikings in some scenarios as well. There's no way this is going to happen.
I mean, this draft feels like mind games to me.
It does.
I don't know how many layers deep these two teams are, but you can be sure that since they're both Korean teams, they're very familiar with each other's hero pools, play styles, and they're going to look for the best way to win this grand finals. And if Vikings is what it takes, that's what they'll pick.
I think with Zeratul on the board and the influence that he's had, I don't think it's that team is going to, either one's going to be able to pick it up.
From
Tastadar now is going to be
justice.
the very open-ended selection here for the first pick of Ballistix. Miracle on the response. I love the Tyrael. I think Zeratul is something they have to be Zeratul is something they have to be considering. It's a little bit weaker in Tastadar, but again, it's Tastadar just because it gets the reveal doesn't make Zeratul useless. It just makes his angle of approach slightly smaller.
We have seen many Zeratuls operate well against the Tastadar. I would like to see Miracle potentially consider the Vala here to remove that synergy from Ballistix and also get that Hero 4 SCSC.
I like Tyrael.
Yeah, Tyrael, of course, is an excellent pick. Anytime we see a Korea-Korea matchup, Tyrael, of course, is very highly prioritized at these global events. We'll have to see what else Miracle goes with. It will set the pace of the draft here.
I do like the Vala more than I thought originally. Forgetting that we saw a Falstad ban coming out from Ballistix, kind of already putting a light choke on that, what's going to be available, because you have to consider whatever MVP.Miracle picks here, there's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 other heroes removed from the hero pool, and a lot of those I think were going to be damages, but they go with a Brightwing, afraid of the Task Tracer Brightwing synergy.
That does seem likely, but it opens you up to let Ballistix have Tastadar, Ariel, Vala, which is another big threat. I don't know if Ballistix
There's so many Task synergy trios.
Yeah, it seems like
you can't deny them all.
He just enables so many compositions.
I think before going the Brightwing, I would have rather Tyrael Tracer if you were worried about it than anything. Either way, Ballistix locks in the Vala. Is the Ariel the follow-up here?
It doesn't have to
Most teams haven't. Most teams haven't picked the Ariel. They don't think it's that high of a value. That those two are really, really good, but if it's not a wave clear map, they wait on the Ariel and instead would go like an ETC here, or a Malfurion would be a common pick too.
Yeah, Ballistix just has so many options here. Miracle already has 1 warrior and 1 support, so they can't really get choked out of either of those roles, so Ballistix will go for the ETC. That was likely going to be Miracle's ban in this phase if it wasn't picked up.
So now it's a Malf? Do you just get rid of the Malfurion opportunity?
I think you should as Miracle, just because you don't want to deal with ETC Malf potential ganks in the early game. They really enable kills in any lane they go to.
Yeah.
And the follow-up is just too powerful. It's also a good response to Sank potentially if Ballistix gets Zeratul, which I think has been a little undervalued so far in the draft. We've seen him be a dominant force even when first picked. And I'd like to see either of these teams really consider how Zeratul fits either into their composition or against their how their opponents would deal with it.
I don't know if I would say undervalued. I do see absolutely where you're coming from. but I don't think Zeratul is worthy typically on that first half of the draft, especially with some of the picks that we've seen out of these teams. I think on this lower section, obviously these teams have to be considering it here. And that really is making Ballistix, I feel like it puts them in a pretty tough spot on figuring what their ban is going to be, because that Zeratul is still left up, and some of the more appealing range or synergy heroes that Miracle could go into, like Tracer is one with the Brightwing Tyrael. They already have this weird, Brightwing has the pseudo support that she needs with her to try and help her be able to carry in the support realm.
I think if you don't ban the Tracer here, you're making a huge mistake as Ballistix.
They go with the Zeratul instead.
You saw Miracle
I agree.
absolutely dominate on this map with the Tyrael Tracer composition.
You just murd in Tracer right now? Is that your rotation? Give him the axe, give him the Tracer, say cheers, love, GG, no re.
That's what I think.
Is that what you do?
It's just such a powerful combination here that Miracle could go for, and Ballistix doesn't even have the Zeratul to respond to it now. In that game, MVP Black Zeratul was one of the only redeeming factors against that composition.
Okay.
The Void Prison allowing the reset of the team fight, negating Sanctification, and actually letting Black have a chance in the fights, but Ballistix won't have that option.
Instead, it's going to be the Illidan dive style here. I don't like it as much as the Tracer opportunities that we saw them be able to move into. I do understand that without having a bigger shield and a different one than Brightwing's teleport, that Tracer falls in appeal. Then, but I don't feel like Illidan Brightwing is not a pairing I love too much. Like, it used to be the best, but now I view it as kind of like in that mid tier again, because Illidan almost always needs to be babied. The Tyrael follow-up is awesome. It is awesome. It isn't a bad pick. I just don't know if I like it as much as some of the other choices.
Yeah, and now we're in a position where Miracle does need to find
You just false stat, right?
range damage. No, false stat's banned.
Oh,
Your
yeah,
options
you're right.
are
I forgot.
limited to Gul'dan or Tychus pretty much in terms of sustained range damage.
Out of the two, we
Li
forgot
Ming,
about Li
yeah.
Ming. That is definitely the most appealing option there. Illidan and Li Ming, if they are the and Brightwing, all three of those are characters that if you end up getting the first pick out of the fight, you are typically going to be very, very successful, even more so than a standard composition. Illidan thrives in the 4 vs 5s, and Li Ming gets a reset and proceeds to blow up everything on the side of Ballistix.
Now, how does Ballistix prevent that initial pickoff that Miracle is looking for? They need a hero to basically negate the burst and buy time. That sounds like potentially an
Sounds
Ariel
like a
to me.
Zeratul and a Falsat. That's really inconvenient.
Yeah, it's unfortunate both of those powerful disengage tools are off the board. I wonder how that happened.
No, I agree with you. That's what I'm trying to think of. Where is the pause? Off the top of my head, Mosh is kind of one of those ish, a little bit. But Brightwing and Wave of Force are really consistent interrupts for that. Sanctification can kind of negate half of it. So where do you find it? Or do you just say, screw it, just even more aggression? Like, you see Miracle moving into that, they want to win harder, but it's like, what if you never let the Illidan comp engage on you? You just always are, like choosing your fights. You are going to be the one going in. How could you be hyper-aggressive with this comp?
Well, you need to get another support. I don't think this team is going to be running Tassadar solo support, so their options are
There it is. That buys a
restricted.
little time, but only on one target.
Yeah, so the Crystal Aegis is not as impressive, I think, against Illidan or Tyrael as it might be against Leoric or a more bursty comp that spends more resources to kill one target. Even Li Ming's burst damage doesn't cost her a lot of resources.
Yeah.
It's just a short cooldown. So the Ariel will be impactful here, and I think it's an amazing pickup because of the synergy, but it doesn't really halt Miracle's composition, and Tychus brings a lot of damage to the team fight, but that is not very much CC for Ballistix.
I don't know how I feel about that Tychus pickup. Like, I get why they're in the scenario to think that is the most appealing option, but I don't look at that and be like, that was awesome. That was really well done. That is going to be at least a 50-50 scenario here into this terrifying comp Miracle's built.
Personally, I would have really rather seen a Gul'dan to add one extra layer of crowd control just to horrify after the Sanctification, because I think that's something that Ballistix is missing right now. Their only tool to punish a Sanctification
I just don't know if that's enough
Mosh.
burst to kill Illidan, though. It's not enough CC or enough burst, I feel like.
That's possible.
It's a tough spot that they're in here.
Yeah, there are no easy answers when you're drafting against one of the best teams in the world, and Miracle now has this last pick. Dahaka, that's a hero
What I thought.
we've not seen very much of in the past couple days.
I mean, change is good, man. But seriously, all right, so the Dahaka globals are obviously, they're pretty neat, but does that bring the dual threat that you want with the Illidan? Like, it might be, again, sticking to the mentality, well, we get the drag, we get the kill, and then again, our comp does really, really well whenever we get that small advantage. But when I see that Tyrael and I see the Li Ming Illidan, I wanted a fourth member to cause chaos and aggression. The prep with the Eldruin's Might, then Illidan's going to get the dive in. Li Ming's throwing out the spells, getting the Calamity. Dahaka's not that mobility, like, that I feel like you need.
You're right, I think, on that aspect. So what Dahaka needs to do, in my opinion,
flank.
is flank,
Yeah.
using his global. That's the only way he can get on the backline and be disruptive with Illidan, because he can't catch up from the
Couldn't
front.
Murden do the exact same thing?
Yeah.
And a lot more consistent, a lot more safe. Give him the X, maybe a little bit less damage. You lack the global and you lack the wave clear, but I don't look at your comp like struggling at any of those fronts. You focus on the skirmish game.
It's possible that they really value the second global extremely highly. I mean, when you see the Brightwing on the team,
It's not necessarily the greatest globals. Like, we
Yeah,
talked about this
yeah.
a lot, that Brightwing, she is a global, but she's kind of not. She loses a lot of the matchups, and most of the time she's more beneficial to your team early rather than late, especially when you have the Illidan. You can't just be like, guys, hold on, I'm getting this clear. He's like, no, I need the shield. I need this shield. So I agree. I just question if the early pickup there, I think in the back half of the game, if this is even footing or even a small advantage of Miracle, I really do enjoy it. And I really question the Vala and Tychus pickup.
I do as well, and we will have to see if Dahaka is the adaptation Miracle needed to overcome Ballistix here in the grand final on Garden of Terror.
Yes, thank you, Dunk Train and Dreadnought. And ladies and gents, are you ready for the grand finals here? Ballistix on the left, in the blue, SCSC on Vala, Zhonghao on Tassadar, Noblesse on ETC 7-0 with the hero, Nacho Chin on Tychus, and Swoy on Ariel.
Their opponents on the other side of the map, the underdogs coming into this tournament of all three Korean teams, making the grand finals. Darvish on Brightwing, Reset on Illidan, Crazy Moving on Li Ming, Sniper on Dahaka, and Tist on Tyrael. Sniper will have to play an off role here with his range flex to get that second global. SCSC Volley, best Vala.
He's 7-0 on Vala. Yeah, he's truly incredible. Let's see what Dahaka can do here to stop this. That's going to be half a tower down. And you know what? The funny thing is, Wolf, draft, clearly, it's half the game. I'm so glad that we take the time for it, because these two teams drafted on such a high level, even to the point where I feel like they've denied each other certain things where both drafts, in a way, are slightly dysfunctional.
Yeah.
There were really difficult fifth picks there, where I wonder, Tychus, Dahaka, do they really work out here for the composition?
It's definitely a big question. I think Tychus is going to get consistent damage no matter what, whereas Dahaka should get some consistent lane pressure. But I feel like Dahaka has some weaknesses in late game. He's unable to push the same way that, say, Falstad can, Sylvanas can. Those other solo laners that actually do concrete pressure. Even Brightwing, you know, sometimes can push a little bit harder because Dahaka needs to be around the map. And Dahaka does have the ability to, like, for example, go into a brush, but he doesn't have the ability to go directly to a hero, so fights need to happen near a brush. Now, this is a good map for that. As you can see on the map, there's brushes everywhere for him to stalk to, but he doesn't do a ton of damage to structures, and he's melee, so that's somewhat of an issue in terms of actually pushing those down. We saw on several games in this tournament, he gets all the way to the fort, but can't actually kill it because it's too risky. We're going to see a gank attempt here using Brightwing. Nacho Jin in trouble and should be taken out here. The shield over the wall will not be enough to save him. He's body blocked. And first blood will go to MVP.Miracle.
Yeah, well done. Reset knows exactly that he will get the follow-up that he needs from Brightwing. I I do think that there was a very important part there in the draft being discussed, in the sense that Brightwing, yeah, she's not really a global. She's kind of someone who arrives late. Is kind of what she is. But she does have this long-range teleport that can... She's like the primary ganking hero utility here. And I wish I knew Chinese so I could actually explain what's happening on that phone there. Got a big reaction from the crowd.
I can help you guys with the Korean crowds, but not on this one.
Let's take a look at the talents. Power hungry only being definitely a more greedy style than MVP Black Sake has been showing, who consistently picks up the force armor. ETC on the other hand goes for a block party to mitigate some of that damage that Illidan likes to do with his auto attacks.
Tiz taking a lot of damage here. SC wants to commit. The team's not with him on it though. He decides to back away, not having vision of crazy moving. And yeah, the power hungry is really good on this map with all the globes that you actually get during the Shambler phase, where you're actually trying to get those. And if someone's trying to invade you, if you pick up that globe, you get that bonus ability power, you get more mana. And there's a lot of globes on this map. It's better for, I'd say, globe talents like what Tassadar has. It's more impactful in that way because you will stack them oftentimes, but it's still powerful. There are a lot of globes to be had, and it's going to basically just make him more damaging. Well, the trade-off, as you mentioned, is, of course, losing that spell armor.
Okay, so Ballistix is making a big play here. They're going a 5-man on the Plant Terror, whereas Brightwing for Miracle is still in the top lane. That means Miracle will draw very far ahead in experience. There's an entire wave being missed here, so Ballistix, with their tendency to group, which they show so often, could be in trouble here. We have the 5-man rotation here from Miracle. In the meantime, Tychus is gone.
SC gets polymorph, but does not really take a whole lot of damage. It's immediately mitigated by Swoy, and now SC is doing a lot of extra damage from the back. Reset will have to retreat here, and this ends up being a very good trade, and Noblesse gets the power slide, showing why he is 7-0. Even though he gets dragged, it won't matter, and Tiz is in trouble. They're trying to collapse on SC, gets the shields. Will he actually chase? He will. He bolts forward. Tiz is in trouble, but he does narrowly escape.
SC misses the Hungering Arrow and fails to confirm the kill there. An uncharacteristic mistake here. Hungering Arrow, a really narrow hitbox there, so he was not able to aim it in just the right direction. Nice job there by Tiz, avoiding that death. It's one takedown apiece now.
Dahaka getting some soak in the bot lane, pushing that lane all the way to the towers, and looks like they're just going to use this opportunity to steal this siege camp. Dahaka's hiding right now, and he actually could just rotate top. In fact, looks like he was just waiting for his cooldown. So he pushes bot, goes top, and they can just rotate Illidan down to the bot lane to get that missed EXP there. Meanwhile, Swoy and SC are just going to take this camp for free. But a nice move by Miracle, superior rotating, and they're even going to get some poke damage here with this stolen camp on this cannon tower. And a smart rotation. Obviously, this tower is going to be an issue, but the pressure they put on lane makes it a lot harder for Noblesse to get value.
Bit of a 2015 Plant Terror overgrowth usage there, as it does 0 damage by itself. It just provides the lockdown. If you're going to actually assault the towers, you generally want to place it in front and not behind, and you actually want to try and work off of that, get some damage in, because Illidan just does a bit too much chase on the plant, and he goes back.
Miracle has been really prioritizing this map. Ballistix may not have as much experience. Yeah, it looks like he's almost forgotten that doesn't work. Yeah, we don't see this map like ever in Korea. Never, ever, ever, never, ever. Miracle's bringing this map out that teams aren't experienced with, and I would never make this as an argument as to why Miracle picked, but it seems like Noblesse has forgotten that in fact that does not do damage to structures anymore.
Yeah, I mean that's a consecutive Plant Terror overgrowth into running away. I can't help but feel that's a little bit of a case of not reading the tooltip here. I mean, most of these
Check out the patch notes. Check the Blizzard Daily.
The Blizzard Daily. Oh, I wish that was a thing, Wolf.
Well, you got to make it a thing.
All right, Plant Terror will be fading away here. About 40% damage there on that fort.
And now Noblesse gets more damage with ETC than the Terror ever did.
Almost. Almost, Wolf.
But yeah, that is somewhat worrisome, as they didn't get as much value out of that Terror. And Terrors, when there's no heavy pressure on them like that, I mean, when he was just simply down there throwing pots, yeah, there was pressure on him, but he could have done a lot more by auto-attacking. Means he wasted an entire 100 seed cycle, and if you commit all those seeds, now you have to build another tower. It may never happen if you get too far behind in the game. In this case, they're slightly ahead, so it's not that big of a deal, but does feel like definitely opportunity waste on the side of Ballistix. 10s are available. Noblesse is going to do his trademark show near the camp.
No, Darvish. He kind of felt that coming. Normally, you don't expect to be in danger behind your own fort. but he felt that coming, and he saw that ETC managed to get away. Of course, he has Blink Heal to save himself, and Jongha goes for the hunt. He insta-picks down. He goes on Tychus, and they will try to get Nacho Chin here.
Looks like they will.
Ah, that's the second death here in the game for Ballistix. Nacho Chin, both sides. I saw Jongha, I saw Reset, I don't know why, I saw Reset hiding that heroic choice, and he insta-picked it and used it.
Well,
that is the way to use the hunt.
I think the reason why you thought Jongha there is because Jongha's the only person in this tournament who's taken the hunt, who did take it on, of course, Warhead Junction for the global it provides. So now this composition essentially has 3 global heroes in Illidan with a very short cooldown, can jump large distances. Brightwing and Dahaka. We're going to see another fight here. Big drag on Noblesse. He is very low. Power slides away. Sanctification goes down to avoid that stun. They are still on the chase. Tist and Reset.
The hunt is available once again. After Aegis, he can use the hunt on Ariel to lock him down there, but he's just not survivable. He goes down.
Oh, no! Noblesse with the Mosh as well. And this is going to be a turn. Noblesse is about to have Power Slide. He is going to go for it. 2 down already. Good blink heal away there from Darvish. It looks like they won't be able to secure any more kills, but still 2 free kills on the side of Miracle by Ballistix there. And this is part of the reason why Metamorphosis is important. You don't have survivability with Hunt, and when he gets super low here, you can see he wants to go in.
But look, they overstayed. Crystal Aegis comes out, they take the full damage, which means Swoy on Ariel gets full energy. They were dropping low, but the survival mechanics were not there. Dahaka hiding in the bush under the siege camp was not part of that fight. Now, Bruiser Camp from Ballistix took huge value. It killed the fort, it pushed in the keep wall, and that is actually such a giant deal. The Garden Terror map has the most appealing attack route from the bottom keep, and that part has been opened up by Ballistix.
Keep in mind that with this Hunt choice, it's very difficult to win longer team fights. You kind of want to get a pick and sort of snowball the fight early. We're going to see attempts of that in this game. Reset avoids that stun.
And Brightwing does
not.
not.
Darvish unfortunately does not. Ballistix wants to invade and steal this. Noblesse is going in, gets the double stun here. The plant is down. Ballistix doesn't get the seeds, but they're on the chase. They want more here, but it's not going to happen. Darvish does get that blink heal away, and it's going to be a full retreat, although SC wants to go on Reset, but he just goes ahead and dives onto those siege minions.
That was actually so scary for Miracle, the way that Noblesse was positioning himself as as ETC and then power slide through. Tyrael took so much damage there, and now we have that push here. Bruiser Camp opened this up. Plant Terror helped with that, and now they're looking to finish this keep. That will be such an early keep loss here for Miracle. We're not even at 10 minutes. Garden Terror games are supposed to go 30 minutes. What's going on?
Well, it's definitely going to be an early keep here. I don't think they'll be able to take it further than that. They may decide to try to go mid and get some more structural damage on that. Fort is being pushed down by camps right now as Darvish teleports in. Looks like they want to go for the engage. Hunt is available here. Reset starting to go in. He doesn't have Metamorphosis. He doesn't have the staying power he would normally have. Look at how low he already is. He has to back off, wait for heals. And when you're solo Brightwing plus the Hunt, Illidan, if he takes any damage at all trying to poke, he suddenly has to leave. He's no longer relevant.
No, you generally don't want 5v5s as Illidan, which is kind of ironic because Tyrael wants exactly that. Sanctification value is the biggest in that case, but with the Hunt, you're looking to pick off individuals, which is basically what happens when you put split map pressure, when you get more Mercamps, and that's kind of where the Haka comes in. But this is insane. Miracle thought this attack is over, and they're losing a whole nother keep against a Plant Terror that was almost down. SC does not greed out for the keep, puts himself in position, and they will turn around and go back here.
Good detainment strike there on Tist. Reset is going in. Tist comes in as well. Here's another Mosh. It's immediately canceled. There's the Polymorph going down as well. Tist drops Sanctification as well, and Reset very, very low here. Will have to back out once again. He has the Hunt. He can try to re-engage, but it won't happen. They're too low, and Tist dies. And this is a keep easily, maybe more.
Yeah, I mean, SCSC is dominating here. If you just look at his positioning again in that fight, if you ever get a chance to watch the video, he was just, every Reign of Vengeance was huge. So much lockdown there, and the way he was going around attacking the high priority targets, it just put up too much damage. Miracle could not make that fight go fast enough. Even as Li Ming cancelled Moshpit instantly, the work had already been done by Vala as the fight went on.
Well, this is going to be 2 stolen important camps here. Ballistix invades. Meanwhile, Miracle is going to rotate down to get their own siege. In fact, sending Reset very deep here. Looks like they want to make a push to get this fort, which would help them get 16. It's just an interesting amount of commitment to resources there without actually going in on it hard. It's scary, though, without vision. Looks like they're going to perhaps try to wait for this camp and invade it to get kills.
Wolf, look at this. Miracle is next to the minion wave at the top left, but they do not push it. They
Oh,
don't
boy.
show in lane. They
This is
don't
gonna
show in lane
backfire.
to hide their position. This is what made Ballistix so good. How did they even know? He power slides into the lane.
Oh, man. This is a disaster on the side of MVP.Miracle. Ballistix predicts this. Noblesse power slides in. Now, I don't think there's any way they could have technically known that they were there. Instead of just face checking, Noblesse goes all in on it and gets immense returns. Another stun here on reset. That should be 2 kills. Okay, Brightwing will teleport in. He's going to get saved, but this is going to be another stolen cap.
Noblesse was slightly too far forward where he gave Illidan the jump away point, but okay, that's fine. It's 10 points down on Gryffindor, but for the most part, they're still very far ahead here. And Ballistix is controlling the flow of information so well. Just the fact that they don't push lanes when they are up in talents means that Miracle cannot effectively soak the top lane because it would be too risky. They also don't run the risk of having Illidan the hunt on them. They are now together and they're doing everything they can to reduce risk and losses to themselves, which may not be as flashy as being everywhere on the map and doing all kinds of things, but it is so effective. Ballistix playstyle is rock solid.
All right, big stuns going down onto the reset here. He's so low, he may die to the Aegis. He's super low. Invulnerability here on Tassar. Jungha escapes. Swoi doing what he can to heal the rest of the team. All right, Stasis already used here. Psystorm's on Sniper. He's the first to die in this fight, and this is going to be an easy Shambler pickup for Ballistix. And with 2 keeps down and pressure on the core, Miracle's going to have to make tough choices. They lose Tist as well, and this Terror could just march for the core. Look at it. It's already got 2 camps on it. The mid pressure is there as well with the catapults. This is a serious problem. Miracle's going to have to use this Terror defensively initially.
Yeah, so let's see what Miracle can do. The D-push is easy with the plant, which means that Ballistix cannot end the game here. They might have been able to if it was a different battleground. You get the double 20+ second death timer, the core is already open, the shields are getting taken off, but that objective is very powerful at D-pushing. Now, what Miracle wants is to open up the map with this plant, and this is actually not how to do it as one person, and then they hope to get this really good fight where they can, in an upset, in a shock, end the game from top lane, for instance. But Vala, SCSC, he's zoning out that plant too well. The plant is actually just following. Okay, now actually Ballistix has a choice to just go for the core with the plant or focus on the team fight.
Yeah, looks like they're going to go for the team fight instead here. Reset is alone. The rest of the heroes rotating up, though. We'll see if we can see a nice power slide in here. Noblesse is already pulled. Heals coming down immediately. Swoi doing massive work with all that hope that SC is giving him here, holding that crown. Look at all the damage Reset is taking here from SC's auto attacks. Crazy moving, just flinging spells over the wall, unable to find more damage. Once this Terror goes down, this fight is going to turn. Although, they do get the poly up in the hunt on Noblesse, but he does not die! That's a dead Reset, and this will likely be game with 40 seconds left on the Ballistix Terror.
Noblesse going for the cutoff route here. They're going to try and buy time for the plant to go straight for the core. Noblesse is just buying time here. He has the threat of a mosh pit available. There's so much raw damage on the core, and this could be a mosh pit.
Okay, he's looking for the perfect mosh pit. The core is under an attack. SC right-clicks on the core, and it looks like Ballistix will take this one very easily. Sanctification useless. That is going to be it. GG, Ballistix will take the lead. What an impressive play we saw from Ballistix there. And look, we're back in the Korea versus Korea finals. The Wolf Korea hat makes a reappearance here. And I am trying to put this on my head, but I'm pretty hyped, to say the least, Grubby. Perhaps that's not going to work out. But Korea versus Korea finals, and the drafts were